Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village of Tequesta and to a regular meeting of the Village Council. It is Thursday, November the 12th, 2020, and it is 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Brennan?
Here.
Vice Mayor Stone?
Here.
Councilmember Brandon?
She's not going to participate tonight. Most of you guys know, she's all right with us saying she gets COVID, so she'll be sitting on tonight's meeting.
So, okay, she's not going to call in. All right, thank you.
Councilmember D'Ambra?
Here.
Councilmember Prince?
Here.
Thank you. The invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Council Member Frank D'Ambra.
Heavenly Father, bless us with your grace and wisdom during this tumultuous time in our country's history. May all men and women of goodwill find a way to work together for the benefit of your people. Amen.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There are no presentations this evening. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. That is the end of consent, and we will start with communications from citizens. Lori, I believe you said someone has put in a card to speak?
We have a card from John Pasqualone in regards to the Hotel Chamber, the Tequesta Steering Committee.
All right. Yes, of course. Hello, John.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Good evening. Great to be here. I think many of you are aware that about a year and a half or so ago, at the mayor's encouragement, the Hobe Sound Chamber of Commerce partnered with the Tequesta Business Association to try to drum up excitement, try to get some life in the business community, and it kind of got off to a really slow start. Councilmember Stone has recently joined the committee and has provided some really good input. At our meeting last week, there were some suggestions brought forward regarding the possibility of creating a punch card. So with the holiday season coming, hard to believe, and we're just trying to brave through COVID, but the holiday season is almost here. And so the idea came about that we create this punch card. A number of member businesses would participate. I believe we had a lot of conversation. Clerk Lori Brennan, or Williams, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Mayor Brennan's. Clerk Lori Williams has been with us from about day one on this whole process, and she came up with some ideas and put together a package. We had started talking about maybe reaching out to beyond the scope of the Tequesta Village, but then we narrowed it back down into, and this was all committee, it's been a flurry of emails back and forth for the past week or so. But what we've narrowed it down to is eligible shoppers in businesses within the limits of the Village of Tequesta would be able to go in, make a purchase, get a punch. At the end of a number of, it's still kind of in draft, but at a number of punches, you would receive, for instance, 5 punches, you'll get a Village of Tequesta logo face mask. Maybe one that doesn't fog your glasses up. 10 punches would receive a Village of Tequesta portfolio binder. If you get 20 punches, then you would receive a gift card from a Tequesta business. Now, I know many of you know that my wife Tammy and myself had to close Menor store over here in the Village shops. We unfortunately had to move our location. Number of reasons. Our lease was up, the bridge construction coming scared us, quite frankly. COVID was probably a good motivator to get out of town because, you know, business just went flat. But this is something that, you know, I wish we would have done a year ago. But nonetheless, here we are. The committee's been working hard and trying to drum up ideas to bring excitement, to bring some life into the village. And tonight, what we want to do is, I believe we're asking for some assistance from the village on some funding for advertising. I know you had the portfolios that was offered and the face masks, that's nice. But there's some costs that naturally are associated with any committee work, and especially when you're trying to do an outreach program. And so tonight, we're just respectfully asking that the village consider some funding for some advertising costs, and that's about it. What did I miss, Lori, anything?
No, you pretty much covered it. What we're asking council to do is sponsor this event so that I can market it out on all the village mediums, and also to either pay for the punch cards through my marketing account, or I'm looking into an electronic stamp me medium where people would be able to do it from their cell phone, but there would be a cost to that. I had an appointment with the gentleman today, but the village's phones were down, so I didn't make that appointment with him, so I'll reschedule it. So that's what we're looking at right now, and I don't have a cost for that, because I have my meeting scheduled to meet with him, but basically to print the cards and market.
And ultimately, you know, this is a committee of the Hometown Chamber of Commerce. Tammy's on the board of directors for the chamber. And eventually, you know, we could see this committee building a lot of really credible ideas and taking it to the Hometown Chamber and saying, hey, we want a funding, we want a line item. But we're just not there yet. And this really came about quickly, and with the holiday season approaching, we wanted to come ask the village for some assistance on that. And it benefits just members within the village of Tequesta.
This was an idea that came from either Amy Angelo of Oceana or Kyle, I'm not sure. They had received some communications from both of them, so the pledge card, they actually want to call it a passport, so I changed it from punch card to passport. Amy would like it to be more a passport type style, and it'll be the first big event that the Hopestown Chamber of Tequesta Business Association will be doing in the village. First of many.
So in short, there's around 365 to 370 different businesses in Tequesta. There's about 20 that are participating in the chamber, and we're trying to get more involvement. But we also want the chamber to do more things other than just create networking events for people to get together. We kind of want the chamber's support in creating events that encourage people to go to our businesses. And so this was one of the first ideas to try to get some momentum behind it. The steering committee is going to reach out and try to get gift cards from different businesses so that we're encouraging people to come back into their business. So I think it's a good starting point. I know that there's an event coming up at Oceana on the...
I think it's December 7th. So
December 7th, I think you're right.
I believe so.
To try to get this going and get more people involved. So I'm really excited about kind of where we're headed, but really trying to encourage people to come to our businesses.
And we'd like to have this out before Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
obviously, for that holiday. And the grand prize, anyone who participates at all will have their name put into a drawing, and one participant will receive $1,000, and that money will come from the local businesses, or up to $1,000, because they've got it. It's up to the steering committee, it's up to the chamber
Yeah.
to go out and get
the
that
prize.
money and to get the gift cards.
Yeah.
That's not on us. That will be on the steering committee and the chamber to go and get the gift card funds and the $1,000.
By the way,
What-
Close Manor, who is now a Hope Sound
Right.
business, committed $50 gift cards, so just to start the competition.
That's good. What dollar amount are we looking from the village? Do we have a dollar amount?
The dollar amount would be either the cost to print the cards,
Okay,
or the cost of contributing towards the Stamp Me electronic, which I don't know what that will cost, because I reached out, I was supposed to meet with the gentleman today,
Right.
but could not do so due to our phones, so I will hope to know more on that exact.
and you were saying you have a marketing budget that so you could use that,
Yes.
so we would
I
not
would-
be asked for
I
money?
would say under $1,000.
Okay, all right. Any comments?
Well, in long term, wouldn't it be probably less expensive if you did have some sort of app on your phone? And I know you're trying to get the cost and stuff on it, but that would be a lot easier. People are always going to have their phones. I don't know, I'm not going to carry around a pocket full of those little stamp cards and stuff, because a lot of people use those. And I personally never carry them around too much unless I go to a restaurant on a regular basis. So I would think that I would be more supportive in doing the app type on there.
I agree with you 100%. And Cindy McDonald actually sat in on that meeting, and the stamp me was a recommendation from her. So I don't know if they have the ability to do what we're looking for, but hopefully they can. And so I hope to have more information about that in the next few days. I agree, I feel electronic would be better.
Okay, that's what you're looking at. Okay,
But cards would be, last resort.
right. Do you have anything,
Well,
Frank?
I mean, I think this council's been consistently supportive of doing whatever we can to assist our local businesses. I'd like to take it one step further. This is an idea that we've talked about in the past. I referenced the community I lived in the Midwest where we had sidewalk days over the 4th of July holiday. And if we're going to do this, I'd like to see us designate a weekend in December where we encourage the businesses to do just that, participate in sidewalk days, allow them, encourage them to stay open into the evening, 8, 9 o'clock at night, do it on a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, let them bring merchandise out onto the sidewalks. One thing I noticed when we did the codes, and I know we said we were going to defer this for a later discussion, but in the code it said businesses could bring out just one rack. Well, if you're going to do something like a sidewalk stays,
Oh, yeah.
you've got to have more freedom than that just to bring out one item or one rack item. So I'd like to see us take this to another level and go beyond just the passport and set up a weekend in December and say, hey, to all the businesses in town, particularly those that are obviously going to appeal to retail, that hey, we're going to sponsor this weekend, and you can stay open late and you can have merchandise out on the sidewalks, and we're going to encourage all the residents to shop local and really see if we can drive home some business.
So this was one of the first ideas. What you've talked about was another idea. We want to see it to where it's business being driven, and that the village is kind of supporting that idea.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, let's go bigger.
Yep, and so there's a bunch of different ideas out there, but we need to get more people involved to help support it. And so that's this is that first step.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's great, Frank. We have talked about that. One of the things I've noticed, and I think you have too, is that you said it got off to a slow start. And I think it's because a lot of Tequesta businesses, even today, are kind of wrap themselves around Tequesta and don't necessarily want to join a group. And that's been part of our problem with having these events, because we made that possible in our ordinances that they could do this. They could have sidewalk sales. They could have block parties, or I think we call them plaza parties. Plaza parties. But it just, so it's been like boots on the ground kind of a thing to try and motivate this. But I hear you, Frank. It's just a matter of getting everybody. But I think if we started something like that, it would catch on.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is I think if we designate a specific weekend, we inform all the businesses, we're doing this as part of this holiday season, incorporate the passport concept into it, and let it fly, and let's see how we do. Like I said, if we're going to do, I'd rather see us go bigger. We don't need to take a baby step here. We need to do something that really, hopefully, motivates not only the businesses but the community to get out with the nice weather coming and really visit our local businesses and see what they have to offer. Not that many of them don't already. I'm not saying that, because I think through COVID, I think most of our businesses would say they got pretty good support from the local residents. But the community environment and atmosphere that's created when you have this kind of an event, where everybody's out, they're all shopping, they're on the sidewalks, they're seeing their friends and neighbors, I think would be a big plus.
Okay. Anything else?
Just happy to move it forward.
Okay, sounds great. Anything else from you?
No, thank you.
So are we going to move forward with the one weekend in December also?
I'd love to see that if we can, but do you think that's too aggressive? Let me ask you, John, would the chamber work with us on that? Is this too soon, or can we get that done?
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think, we're committed. We committed a year and a half ago to try to build excitement in Tequesta. And, full disclosure, the Hopetown Chamber is at the southern end of Martin County. There's 4 other chambers in Martin County. So naturally, they're trying to attract businesses in the northern part of you know, you got the Northern Palm Beach County Chamber of Commerce, great Chamber of Commerce, but they're 9,000 members strong, and they really don't have the capacity to take care of small business folks. I mean, they go after the big target businesses. The answer to your question is yes. I believe we would support that. I think it's great. I'm excited that you guys are having this discussion even. I wish you'd had it a year ago when we were here, but that's besides the point. But I think you're going to see some synergy between the two communities. I made a comment in our meeting the other day. I said, well, you know, what you do is just build a bridge across the park. It's just a walk in the park to get here from Hope Sound. And we live in Hope Sound. Now our business is in Hope Sound. But we were coming down here every day. It's not that far of a ride. So I think we can build some excitement. I think we can build some energy. I think the Hope Sound Chamber, I can't speak on their behalf, but Tammy is the chair of this committee, and she'll be taking that to their board meeting on Tuesday. So if we can come to some sort of term on what it is you're looking for support on, I'm sure that we can do that. We can, Lori, if you're taking notes, please bring that to our meeting on the 7th, and we can have discussion on that. I think the answer is absolutely yes. And I'm going to tell you,
Thank you.
I've already told her she needs to take it to her board of directors that if this is successful down here, we need to do the same thing up there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Vice Mayor, you've taken this
Right.
recently. Is this something that you would concede us trying to do?
I think it would be great if we try to do it. I don't know that it would be successful on the front end, because I think it takes time to kind of get going and
Yeah.
get it lined out.
But we can try.
I think that if we can encourage people to just shop locally on the National Small Business Day, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we can kind of encourage that. It's already got a momentum behind it, just nationally. So I would think that would probably be more successful in encouraging our businesses to really participate, which they're already going to be participating in shopping local that day.
I hear you. I'd like to see, I still like to see us carve out a weekend in December and really put a push on this.
Yeah.
And see what happens. I don't think we or the businesses have anything to lose. And we have
Right.
everything potentially to
Yeah,
gain.
that's true.
And there wouldn't really be an extra cost to us because,
Right.
you know, I'm going to be marketing this anyways. We can, December 5th is that next Saturday, and we can market that in with it. Somebody mentioned that stamp fee was $119 a month, and I believe you have to pay for a year, so $14.28. So if, you know, maybe some discretionary funds could be put forth towards that as well.
You're taking a page from Vince's playbook here.
If I may, Madam Mayor, just, I think continuous conversation.
Okay,
and
yes.
keeping it in, you
Well,
know, in the forefront.
yes.
And don't limit it just to December.
Right.
Correct.
Do another one in January, February,
No,
March.
it'd be wonderful to.
Take advantage of the season while the folks are here.
True.
How are you gonna advertise that?
We'll do advertising through the village's website, through social media outlets that we have here. I was talking to Cindy McDonald about creating an Instagram account, which apparently is very popular nowadays, through our Code Red and our newsletters that go out through Code Red. And then when people tag us, we're also going to ask people to do a short little video, and they'll get double points for doing a video and sending it to me, and we'll post that out on social media. They'll get double points for shopping at a Code Sound PBA specific member business, and so they'll be tagged on social media to the village and tagged to Hope Sound Chamber, so all their members will see it as well.
And the chamber also has social media, plus they do a news you can use article every Friday morning, so whatever's going out, current events, they send it out to their entire mailing list of 500 or 600 people.
And it's also important that the businesses themselves get behind it.
Yeah, they have to
Start
get
promoting
behind
it
it.
too, on their own sources. So
Yeah.
that's the push.
Okay.
That's just kind of a bizarre idea, but I wonder if you could put some sort of little flyer in your water bill, and everybody in town is gonna get that when they open up their water bill. You'd have a flyer advertising, you know, that this is the special week to, you know, shop in Tequesta.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it wouldn't cost that much to stuff that in there. It would be a cost to the city to stuff it in the envelope, but.
I think we
just-
can do it.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
I got a nod that it's possible that we can do that.
From our facilities director, who was
Doesn't he work for you?
getting
I mean,
the
that's
thumbs up,
something
thumbs
that everybody's
down.
that's something that everybody's gonna open
I'm sorry.
up, and obviously,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna
That's
see
great.
it, and most likely
love
you'll
it.
have a high percentage of people that'll actually read it. And it would be, that way it's going to be mailed out anyway, so your cost of mailing is already incurred.
And it's an important point,
That's an
because
excellent
the
guide.
citizens are our target, not the businesses.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
we just got to
shop.
get them out on the corner,
Right.
down on the
We're
street.
going to email the businesses a letter.
Right.
That I've written encouraging them to participate in this. If that's a great idea, if Matt and utilities can do that, we can provide him with that information too. That would be
Okay.
great. And Diana mentioned, reminded me, we're going to create a hashtag also.
Okay, great.
And Lori, if you need some discretionary funds, I'm willing to contribute something to that effort.
Yeah, I think I won't be doing a lot
Me
of
too.
traveling, so we can figure this out a little bit. Thank you. Thank you for coming in, and it looks like council's very much behind this, and we're going to make this happen.
Thank you very much. I'm off to support one of your local eateries.
Yeah, have fun.
Have a good evening. Thanks for
Truly sorry that you left, though. Lori, anything just for general anymore?
That was it.
Is there anyone here in chambers that didn't put a card that wishes to speak at this time? Not about an item on the agenda, just speak? All right, let's move on to communications from council. And Councilmember Prince, let's start there.
Well, unfortunately, I was out last council meeting and stuff, so I was kind of not up to speed about what all happened on that, but I'm just wanting to encourage everybody to continue to stay safe. Now there's some controversy about, the cases and stuff being elevated, throughout the country, not just here in Palm Beach County. And talking about going back to virtual meetings. Have y'all had any thoughts or ideas about what y'all want to do about continuing to meet here in the chambers, or y'all, the other council members, have y'all thought any about doing the virtual meetings again?
Bruce, we can't go to virtual meetings unless there's a declaration by the governor that allows for that to happen.
I thought that I'd read something the other day that they were starting to consider allowing that to happen again.
Why don't we
Keith?
have Keith weigh in on
Yeah, I was
this
gonna say, Keith,
and
yeah.
see? Because we did, that was part of what I was going to bring up as well. I wanted to hear what Keith, no mic?
Nope,
Keith,
think it's
you're good.
working fine. So, when COVID started, there was a push by the Florida League of Cities and a handful of local government attorneys to have the governor do what he ultimately did, and through a executive order, suspend certain requirements based on an attorney. He asked for an attorney general opinion, which he got. The attorney general opinion concluded that if a quorum is required to conduct business, local government bodies may only conduct meetings virtually, either if a statute permits it or the in-person requirement is lawfully suspended during a state of emergency. So the state of emergency was originally declared like early March, something like that. And
Right.
then there was a push that I mentioned to have the governor suspend the in-person requirement for a quorum to be present. And ultimately, that did happen through an executive order. It was Executive Order 69, 2020-69. And that was based on the Attorney General opinion that I mentioned. Now, that opinion spoke to a number of things. One of the things that it talked about was the historical list of AGOs that have opined on the need for a quorum to be physically present for a local government to conduct business. It noted, for example, that there is statutory requirements for a quorum to be present, and that a majority of the quorum vote in favor in order to pass any resolution or any ordinance. There's a statute that says that. So by way of example, the opinion relied just on your common definitions for the term quorum and the term present, because those aren't defined in state law. They're not specifically defined in the Sunshine Law. So based on all that executive order was issued, and it was very specific and very targeted, and it simply indicated that any requirement that a quorum be present in person, or that a meeting be held in any particular place, Those rules were specifically suspended because of the COVID state of emergency. Nothing else was waived, nothing else was suspended. Over the months, that order was extended and extended. Even as we came through back into phase 1 recovery, phase 2 recovery, the order was continually extended until we got to October. And order 24246, there were a lot of executive orders this year. So 246, which was issued at the end of September, extended the original order 20-69 through November 1st. And importantly, there was language in the original order that talked about the expiration date of that order. This order 246 overrode that and specifically indicated on November 1st, the ability of local governments to meet virtually will end. Even though the general state of emergency still exists, recently, I think on November 3rd, Order 276 extended the general state of emergency through January 3rd of 2021. So you still have the general state of emergency. The executive orders that suspended the in-person meeting requirements has expired. Whether a new order will be rendered that reinstitutes that happens, I don't know. It may not. But as we sit here tonight, that executive order has expired. Now, in conjunction with Order 246 that had the last date on it, there was correspondence from the governor's office that was very clear that specifically indicated local governments need to start making plans to start meeting in person again. So where that leaves us is where we were before COVID, requiring a quorum to be physically present to conduct business. So for us, a quorum is three council members. So if 3 of you are present, technically the other 2 could call in remotely and still participate. So that's kind of where we are.